Here we go. All right, let's get a little stream going here. Hey, Mike. I'm guessing you got a notification this time, because it seems like you popped in pretty quick there. How are you today? GPS data should be a fun stream. I hope so. Butterfly looks really cool that it's going a bit slower with the wings flapping. Yeah, I think it looks pretty neat. Thanks. Pretty happy with it. I think the visibility of it is a little low on that screen. Like I could pop out the edges a bit more, but it's pretty good. It's not too bad. You didn't get the notification? Huh. Okay, well, not sure what the deal is there. Doing well though, just happened to check if I was live because I noticed the time. Oh, well, here we are. Live today. Well, glad you're here anyway. Probably a my side issue, I'll get it sorted. Yeah, I don't know, like, it probably is, because I changed the text and everything. It just might be a setting on your Android or something like that. Not entirely sure. Very briefly, before I switch over to that little side project idea with the GPS stuff, I wanted to show I've been working on the 2D rendering improvements and still have work to do on that front, but I've made a slightly improved 3D renderer now too. So you can see here it actually renders out. So this is the test shape I made. It's the difference between two cubes, and there's a cylinder in there as well, and it actually renders. So if I do something like this, for example, let's only spin it 45 degrees there. Cider Show 3D ASDF uses, it's still slow, right? Hence work to do, but it uses this ray marching. Sometimes in 3D it's called sphere. I think it's called sphere marching, something like that. For each pixel, you've got a 3D ray going through your scene. So XY is determined in the way I implemented it. Your XY position is the pixel that you're calculating. Well, actually, that's not actually true either. It corresponds to a pixel coordinate. And then you shoot a ray, and you test the distance to the distance function that you've got there. And once it's below a certain threshold, then you calculate an alpha value and just send it out to the whatever rendering function you have. So this is a work in progress for that. It works okay, but you can see there's weird things going on with the thresholding and stuff like that. So like you could tell here that this should be some kind of wall on this cube, right? You can imagine. But that's not correct at this point. And I'm passing the alpha in right now. Like, it looks cool, but if you actually were to overlay this on something else, it'll look weird, because you'll have the brightest stuff will be 100% opaque, but everything less than 100% brightness will be slightly translucent, which is not a realistic render. It happens to just look okay in the context of this, barring, of course, the thresholding problem. But it's pretty cool, and it kind of works. The math and theory is a bit above your pay grade, but it looks pretty good. Oh, Mike, honestly, I bet you, if I could figure it out, I'm sure you can figure it out. It's not overly complicated. Now, so this, right? This here is Mandelbulb. It's the Mandelbrot set rendered in 3D. And the only thing that's different between this and what I'm achieving here, or attempting to achieve, is the SDF, the signed distance field function that you pass into the renderer itself. I honestly think that with just a bit of clearer explanation from someone who knows more about this and a bit of time, you could implement such a thing yourself too. It seems more complicated than it is, especially looking at stuff like this, right? These are complicated fractals that look ridiculous. Yeah, but on my side of things, I'm not interested. Well, I am interested in fractals, but that's for fun, not for. That's different. I'm interested in CAD primitives, so more mechanically minded shapes and stuff like that, and the ability to represent shapes with unions, difference, and that kind of stuff. So anyway, point is, it's probably not as crazy as you might think. I bet you could figure it out. I'll render one more thing in slate gray just for kicks. And I'll time how long this takes to... Ooh, I want to do one other little thing here. I want to make the cylinder bigger so it slices into this bottom spot. That might look kind of cool. We'll see. And I also wonder if I should lower this threshold here a little bit more. Part of the trouble with this is I'm not actually explaining it all that well at the moment. But I think that'll be a topic for another day. I'm not in the headspace to explain it properly. It is really exciting though to, like, this is my own code, my own crappy renderer, and it actually works. I mean, it's certainly not production usable. I wouldn't want anyone else to try and use this, but it's pretty cool nevertheless. I'm pretty pleased with it as it goes. I have to work out a few kinks in the system yet. I think when it comes to the stepping of when it comes to the actual marching of the ray, I think I don't have the number, or so this in Clojure, this is a pretty imperative way of writing it. Oh, look at that. That's strange looking. Kind of cool though. So there's weird render glitches based on, well, I don't know why that shouldn't quite look like that. Oh yeah, no, that's actually correct. That is the corner of this other cube that's slicing this cube away. Pretty weird. So I don't know, there's a lot of improvement to be made on this tool, but let's get to a new project where I can pull in some GPS data and start poking around in that, because that could be fun. I had this, so what am I using the data for today? Yeah, that's a good question. So I went, before I started the stream, I went and did a run. I'm not going to say precisely how far away from my house it was. It was a distance, and there was a running track in like a public area. So I started a track recording on the track. It's very simple. So it's a known shape. It's a box with two rounded ends, because it's a running track, right? It's pretty simple. Anyway, point is, I have an app on my iPhone that I found on the weekend, and it records at you can set the interval and it'll record a GPS position, and that's basically it. And then it puts it into what I'm pretty sure is an XML format. And the idea is I want to take that format, see if I can get its structure into Clojure data, and just have a look at what the structure is and see if I can transform it into SVG point data, which I can then use to render in some kind of artistic way. end goal of this is for me to have on, I have an old TV here that still works, but I don't have an idea for it yet. The idea now is maybe to figure out how to use something like OpenStreetMaps to get a nice looking vector render of the Vancouver area, and every time I go on a run or a ride, I record its track, run it through a system, render the track on that map, and expand a fog of war over it so that it I can see visual progress of my exploration of all the all the little nooks and crannies of the city. That's the idea. And so today is just looking at the format and seeing if I could get some rudimentary rendering of it. And if I can make a pipeline that's pretty quick there, then it's a tool and I can build out some project from it in the future. But that's the idea. Whether or not that goes very far, I'll have to see. But it seems like it'd be pretty fun, so I don't know what to call it though. So it could be like a virtual tour of where I ran from a street level. Maybe eventually. I'm just thinking at the moment of literally a top-down map view, and if you had a physical map printed on paper and you wanted to track how much of the city you've walked or whatever, you could take a highlighter and highlight the roads you ran on, and then you could put a little sticky note on it or something, or have a legend showing details of your date and time and all that stuff. But the idea here is to just kind of collect that data digitally and just display it in hopefully a cool looking way on my TV or something like that. The idea being it's sort of an exploration game just for myself to just see how much of the map I can uncover as I go. It feels like it could be kind of fun. GPS tracks. I'll just call it tracks. How about that? I can change the name later. I don't know why I'm fussing over that right now. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that. Could sell the running paths as art, convert the lines into some abstract painting, call it running art. Well, so the getting rich part of what you're saying, I don't know about that, but I've genuinely thought about those sorts of things. Like, it would be really kind of funny to I had this idea, right, where I have in a folder or whatever a collection of the tracks I've run, right? And the rule is I could draw stuff, but only using the shapes of the runs I've done. So if I've only ever ran straight lines, then I'd have a very polygonal thing. If I've only run curves, then I'd have to use those curves in like puzzle piece them together to make some kind of drawing. So I've thought of something like that. Then I'd have to, make sure there's no okay, you can't scale it and you can't rotate or whatever, right? Like various restricted rules. It'd be really funny, right? Because you could, with restricted rules, you might be missing a shape, and then you could just go and run to get the shape you want. Then you could take it differently, right? And if you find a big enough open field and you have GPS data that's fine enough, you could just try and trace a real picture in a field as you do a run, and then see what you get out of that, right? There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. So anyway, before I get well ahead of myself, I have to make a little thing that can actually render out some of these shapes, right? That's the important bit. And because I'm lazy, I'm just going to copy paste this depth Eden as a starting point. I'm going to assume I don't need that. I don't even... There's a lot of stuff in here that I definitely don't need. Let's take that out of there, take that out. I should automate project starts, or I have the ability to start them kind of like this. I don't know why I don't actually use this. Maybe there's a reason. P. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. That's kind of there. So I did find I do have an Emacs template set up to build out some of the basics. It's okay, I guess. Does it make sense? Kinda. Sorry for the noise outside, but I like keeping my window open, so usually the garbage truck goes away soon. Oh boy, oh boy. Alright, enough dilly-dallying. I need this to be here. You know what? Let's just do this. I know I need hiccup and SVG, so let's just do that. I don't need Clojure script, and if I do, I can just restart my REPL. Not a big deal. All right. Okay, that looks good. This I can delete because I have the same thing right here using my template. Okay, I think tool for parsing and rendering GPS data. Yeah, so I made sure I did not start tracking, just for the sake of this stream anyway, I did not start tracking from my home. The obvious problem there is I basically would dox myself for anyone who cared to just collect the GPS coordinates, right? Like that's exactly the intent of GPS, to pinpoint on Earth where someone or something is. So if I'm fiddling around with those points from my literal home location, well, that's kind of a problem. Surely no one would track down where I live. So you're probably right. In all seriousness, it's unlikely that anyone would care to know where I live, and it's not a big deal. But you know what? I'll be a little bit careful, at least for the time being. You know, probably smarter just to be safe with that kind of stuff. Even though I stream, you know, which is a pretty public thing to do, there are some things I like to be, you know, personal still, right? No point in risking it. No, I think not. It just, and the thing about, so it's like in warehouses and stuff too, right? There's a lot of safety procedures that are kind of silly, right? But it's not about any one procedure process being this. If you don't do this, you will be injured. It's the mindset of paying attention to things, right? Even if there's low risk, being aware of the fact that there is some risk in an activity is, I think, an important thing. So there we go. Not using, as much as possible, I'm not using personal GPS location data. I mean, truth be told, if someone were truly dedicated, they probably, like, not even just me, probably for most people, you probably could find where someone lives, which is a little scary, but I'm not gonna worry my brain about that today. So, wrong button. Create it, yes please. Oh, I have to. That's one thing I forgot. Tangling doesn't work until you refresh the header, because it has some this here make dir p make project directory, I think is what it stands for. Yes, that's default no, and if you don't eval the if you don't eval the header in your org file, it will use the default settings. Anyway, so now that it's evaled, that'll be true for this file forever, unless I re-eval it with different settings. Tangent, of course. Let's do require svg clj dot as elements svg clj dot transforms as tf. I think this is all correct. svg clj path as path. Now let's also grab, just for quick visuals, what did I do wrong? Something went wrong. Here we go. Right, svg clj dot tools as tools. All right. Let's see. That's wrong. Something went wrong. No. There we go. Save that. Okay. Oh, there's one more thing I know I need here, actually. If I head to... See, it's nice to make sure you have all the deps you need before you launch the REPL, because changing deps does require a restart of the REPL as a whole. And that's just a little bit annoying, so I try to remember what to change first. Let's go to the SVG. So I need to, since I'm pretty sure it's XML data, I want to pull in Clojure data XML. It's this library. Pop that in there, and we should be good now to start it up. Let's also get into that folder track design/t. There we go. And move from downloads. Ooh, uh-oh. Downloads. Hey Mike, how'd your weekend projects go? Any luck on building the oh shoot, I forget what it was called, the practice ramp for your for some footy, for some soccer? Actually, you're in Virginia, right? So you'd call it soccer? Am I right about that? I think so. Right. Downloads. What did I call it? Outer Okay, so we've got inner GPX and outer GPX. We're good. Didn't get around to doing it. Got some plans laid out for how you want to do it, but you didn't get the supplies or build anything. Hey, plans are good too. When it comes to actual building, it's nice to have at least some form of a schematic, if you will. I know for some projects they're basically fully formed in my head. Then I just grab a piece of printer paper and do a sketch. That way I have some of the key dimensions I need, that kind of thing. In Virginia, but I only call it soccer because Americans don't recognize it as football. Generally, you call it football around other players, though. I prefer, so in Canada, we call it soccer as well. I mean, soccer is a fine name, but football makes more sense as a name for the sport soccer than American football. It doesn't make sense. So I like football better as well. Just, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but are you, you're in Virginia, but are you American? Like, were you born in America or moved there at a young age kind of thing? Or are you from Europe or something? Get in a lot of trouble. You call cleats studs and a field's a pitch. All your non-soccer friends make fun of you for it. Born and raised in Virginia, 100% American, which you're not proud of. Hey, well, I understand your sentiment. I wouldn't worry about it though. Humans are humans, right? No matter where you're from, you've got feelings, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, if you're in America, I can understand what you mean by that. But it's not, you know, the politics of a country do not necessarily reflect on the individuals within it, right? You are not, no one person is defined by any one thing, including their own country, right? Does that make sense? I don't know. But I get it. I understand it. You had an English coach for a while, though. Maybe that, plus watching the EPL. That's where I get it. Yeah, it could be. I mean, plus it just does make more sense as a name for the sport. So I'm on your team on this one. Although field and pitch would be harder for me to get used to. But there's no, like, they're both equally arbitrary in my brain. It's just a force of habit. And in my mind, cleats have studs, but they are not studs. But that's just quibbling. It's not important. You know, context and all that, I would know what you were talking about. It's all good. Okay, all right, enough soccer talk. Well, actually, if you want to keep talking soccer, football, you go right ahead. I've reached my real limits of knowledge about the sport, though, to be honest. I'm not much of a team sports player. I was one of those kids in school that was bad at sports and learned, you know, thanks to how our gym class went, that because I was bad at those sports, that I was uncool and nerdy. And therefore, I didn't put much practice in to those kinds of sports. So I don't know much about soccer. Actually, in kindergarten, so I was 5 years old, my parents gave me the option to try soccer. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to try play it. So I did for a season, if you could call it a season when you're 5 years old. And I remember our team, we got second place, so we got a silver medal. It was pretty cool, and I had fun. But I remember in the final game where we won second place, I should say. Like, it was third and second place fighting for second place or something like that. I don't remember those details. But I do remember having a breakaway and wanting to score a goal so badly. And so I was running, and I went to kick the ball into the net, which was in front of me, off to the left a little bit. But I did that thing where you kick it with your toe, because I didn't know how to kick a ball properly. And it went left, like way left of where the net was. And there was another player running just behind me who received that and managed to score a goal. So all the adults were like, great assist, Adam. And the other guy was named Adam too. So it was Adam and Adam. They got a goal. But in my own head, I was like, yeah, I totally, like, I was sad because I was trying to score. I messed up and someone else did what I couldn't do. It was really it's really funny, but like as a kid it was like, oh man, I was getting praised for an assist that I didn't mean to do. And that was my that was the last time I played soccer. It was pretty funny. All right, so we're in the REPL now. Let's see if everything loads properly here. It does. Fantastic. Okay. Kids soccer is basically what we call swarm soccer. The ball goes somewhere, everyone follows. It's great. Yeah, so, you know, these being really old memories, well, really old, that makes me sound like I'm on my deathbed. These are from when I'm 5 years old, so more of the memory is probably fake than true reality. So I can't say, but I feel like we were actually coached to try play a little bit better than what you say, swarm soccer. But I can't remember if that actually succeeded or not. I remember sometimes, you know, I would do the thing where I'm picking flowers in the field. That's what I remember. And like honestly trying really hard. I just was not as good as other players. That's what I remember. Oh, I love it. At the time I was embarrassed, right? Like, cuz I just wanted to have as much fun as other people did and be good at it, right? But you know how it is. But yeah, like seeing kids soccer now, you're totally right. Calling it swarm soccer is perfect. And it is really fun to see because it's just a clump of kids just whoosh. And then there's usually one or two dotted further back in the field doing what I did, you know, picking the flowers, looking at bugs. Oh, it's great. Okay, yeah, sure, Scratch, why not? All right, I always fail to remember how to do the XML parsing stuff, so we'll do something. Slurp file name into oh, I didn't pull that in as a name. All right, well, let's cheat and look at old code that I've written before. Okay, so I don't know if I need shell. I don't think I do. I guess I do need this. Let's just pop that back in there like that. Yeah, and we've got I thought I had XML in this one. I guess not. It's somewhere else. Oh, it's in utils. Coached little kids, 5 or 6 years old, when I was younger, and it was a lot of fun. Coach high school girls now for the JV team. Still swarm soccer sometimes, but they're getting better. Nice. That sounds pretty fun, actually. I couldn't do that myself, actually, but that, well, obviously, because I'm not a soccer player. Do you enjoy coaching? I mean, I guess you must at least a little bit to continue doing it. I can imagine that it would be hard sometimes to get everyone on the same page during a practice. That's my guess. Managing adults is hard enough, and managing younger individuals is probably a challenge from time to time. So much fun. If I could make money to support a family doing it, I would. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine there's not a ton of money in coaching, right? Unless you're like a professional, I don't know what you'd call it. You're like NHL, NBA, that kind of stuff. Then there's tons of money. Oh, probably college level stuff has like salaried at least. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's the truth. All right, in utils here, this is what I was looking for. Clojure data XML. I couldn't remember. So let's pop that right here. Boosh. Oh no. Not at a high school level. There isn't. College is pretty good money, but you don't have the time to build up the credentials for it. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm sure it's like it's one of those career paths that you probably want to start like right out of college or even during college, right? Like you get in good with the existing coach while you're in undergrad studying whatever or doing sports or who knows what, and then you kind of just keep that going. My sister's husband's brother is a, oh, I forget what kind of coach he is. He does strength and conditioning for college level. He's somewhere in the States. I can't remember anymore. It was either hockey or football, American football, but I don't remember. And I know he had been doing coaching related stuff like and training related stuff from high school already. So he was like well dedicated to that career path trajectory, if you will. Oh, this is why it's not working, because there's nothing there. Boy. There we go. Okay, so we got all the stuff we need loaded. Let's try to remember how to actually use XML. The XML library, I mean. There's an example. There should be. There's a lot of stuff I have to clean up here. Like, what is this? Why did I do that? I don't remember what's going on with all that stuff. Doesn't matter. Oh, there's the XML stuff. Hey, C-Films. Playing with great people states? GPS, Global Positioning System? What does the S in GPS stand for? It's Global Positioning System or satellites or something like that. About to import and parse some of this stuff using something right here. So yeah, this is what I'm looking for. It's basically this XML/parse string. Parse string namespace aware false is probably okay. Let's start with that and go from there. I don't know what great people states means, C-Films. Global position system. Yeah, the problem with acronyms is there's like almost always, they're overloaded. There's almost always like 4 or 5 meanings at least. All right, so let's parse. That's a bad name for this function, by the way, because it loads and parses. Maybe it should be called load. You're messing with me? I mean, for all I know, great people states could like be an actual thing that I just don't know about. I think in terms of knowledge, there's more things that I don't know about than that I do know about. So I always take the naive. I should learn that on Twitch, you know, sometimes people like messing with you in chat. I never remember that fact. Oh boy. Hope you're having a good day there, C-Films. Good to see you here. All right, so I have outer.gpx. Well, it parsed. It did something. Let's do that again, but we'll just take first off of that. Oh, that's a little underwhelming. Oh, it's a, let's count it. I think it might just be a single map. 3. Wait. If I count a map. Oh. Map? Okay, yeah. If I do a sequence of maps, or a vector of maps, that should be false, right? Okay. Map. Parse outer.gpx. True. There we go. Ciao, doing great. How are you? I am doing very well today. It's a Monday, so I have to always kind of ramp up my brain again, you know? Like the weekend, I intentionally try to not think about the work I'm doing at all, right? Try to just totally flip it to having fun, relaxing, that kind of stuff. But Monday, you gotta flip it back, and it always takes time. So I'm doing well, though. That's just the, you know, shaking the dust off the old brain box. Oops. All right, so this function here was a function that I found in one of the Babashka examples. Oh yeah, hey, C-Films, I'm not sure if you have been around when Mike has been around in chat. I've seen both of you in chat before, of course, but I'm not sure if I've seen you both at the same time. Anyway, Mike is a mod here. He shows up pretty regularly. He's been around on the stream for a bit. So yeah, he feel free to chat with him while I'm doing my thing. Or not, you know, whatever you're comfortable with. But these are good people here. So feel free and comfortable. As long as we're all, you know, respectful of one another, which I feel like I almost don't have to say. All right. So if let a tag is XML, then into, so this is actually recursive. Actually, let me see what happens if I just do this just as is on the existing data. I'm very curious and lazy. I don't necessarily want to invent a new approach. The problem with this, of course, is that it's not true hiccup Well, like it's not HTML is what I should say there. More apt statement would be, I try to show up regularly, but work doesn't allow for it at times. Fair enough. You do what you can, and I appreciate you for it. False. Oh yeah. I wouldn't. It's a shame that you can't do it as much as you like, but you know, I'm okay. I just am happy when people are here. You know. All right, so that did convert it into hiccup style stuff, so that works okay. All right, so let's do this, but first of that. Okay, so okay, so there's a track, has the name, which is when I went when I was there, and then extensions, time zone offset. So this little extensions thing must be just app specific data, I'm guessing. And then track seg is the interesting, it's the start of an interesting piece. Just trying to get my head around the structure of this a little bit, you know? Okay, it actually looks like the actual data that I really want is it's all contained inside the track seg section, at least for this particular track. So presumably a track is the top level thing. You can have n track segments inside it, and inside each track segment there are track points. It's those track points that I want to pull out into some kind of polygon, something like that. Asking if you're from Italy or live in Italy or speak Italian or ethnicity is Italian. All fair questions. Let's see. Right, so I need to, I do want to just discard a bunch of this stuff. I want to get to, what's, let's do this. Load GPX, we'll call it that. And we'll leave it at XML to hiccup. Then get points of the GPX. Let's do that. And then now here's where I just go into into this, and there's a way Main language is English, but I also know PHP, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. That is peak dad joke for sure. Yeah, C Films doesn't actually. He doesn't. They don't code in PHP or JavaScript. They literally just speak it, and hope that someone else can compile JavaScript live on the fly in their brain. Very effective form of communicating with humans, for sure. Right. So there's got to be like a way to walk the tree. Hey, Worder Bar. Thanks for the follow. I think it was just now. Yeah. Man. So sometimes I don't notice when people follow. So you got lucky that my eye was looking at the spot that notifies me. Yeah, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Hey, Worder Bar. How y'all doing? I'm doing well. A few other people in chat I think are doing well. I don't want to speak for them, but they've been doing okay so far. All right, let's just do this the dumb way. How about that? We'll thread this through. So we'll literally just do thread last, actually. We'll do drop 2, then thread that through drop 3, then thread that through drop 2, and I think that's a horrible thing to do, but I think it'll work. So if I do get points of load gpx of the file outer.gpx. Oh well that's on me. Let's try that again. It's empty. At C, I think, hey Worder, I think at C Films was referring to a prior conversation before you popped in. I think he was talking to Mike, but yeah, feel free to join in whatever is going on chat wise there. Everyone's welcome as long as we're respectful of each other. Pretty normal human behavior, you know. Be kind, rewind, all that stuff. Okay, there we go. We're almost at the right spot here. So we're not almost at the right spot. What am I talking about? Drop 2. Okay, this is a really bad way to destructure what I want. I'll see if I can look up the Clojure tree walking in a minute, but I want to make sure I'm getting the right stuff, and then looking at the points and seeing what I can do with them. Okay, so anyone on the channel or chat room can answer the last question. What languages do you know? Oh, I wish I knew more than I do. I know English. That's my native. I honestly can't say I know French. In Canada, they give you like we're officially a bilingual country. Where I grew up in Ontario, they didn't take French education too seriously, and I at the time didn't think much of it. But it's a bummer because it's a weakness in my knowledge these days. I also know een klein beetje Nederlands. Ik vind de taal heel moeilijk. So I know a little bit of Dutch, but I find the language very difficult. So that's me. I do that thing where I keep thinking, oh, it'd be great to learn whatever language, and then I really struggle, and then I drop it. So that's a me thing. Got to work on that. Native English, fluent in English. Nice. Know enough, Mike. You know enough Spanish to get into trouble. And I program in a whole bunch of languages too. Yeah, programming languages, though technically count as languages in some sense, I feel like those are different than spoken language. But yeah, if we add that to the list, I also know Clojure and Python. Oh, native German. Oh. I love the I love that typo. Native in English and fluent in English. That's fantastic. No, that's really cool. All right. First, then drop 3. Then first, then drop 2. If this works, I'll move on to seeing if I can render points in a meaningful way. Oh. Wrong. Incorrect. Let's back this off a little bit here. Wordabar, do you program in Clojure at all? Speaking languages, do you know? Me? English and a little bit of Dutch. What languages do I know how to type? None. I barely know how to type. Just the English alphabet. Oh, what's the proper name for the characters that English speakers use? Because they're not only used in English, so I don't know that it's supposed to be called the English alphabet. I have no idea. All right, so we've got extensions, which I can drop. I want to get to track segment, so I just all I need to do here should be just drop 1. And this is why I want to change this function once I've got access to this stuff here. Worder never used Clojure, mostly used Python, Bash, and PowerShell. Well, that's a great combo. You can do a lot with those. You can automate most things with that set of tools, I'm sure. That's pretty cool. So any reason you popped into this stream? Just curious. Drop 2. Oh, this is so ugly. I'm ashamed that this is how I'm destructuring this right now, but I wanna get some point data and go from there. Okay, get points. There we go. This is now a sequence of track points. Exactly what I want. And it looks like a single track point has latitude, longitude, and elevation, and the time, which is pretty cool. So what I wonder is what to do. Because I gotta see. Oh, I know. Now let's do simplify point. Oops. Working on my home lab and needed some co-working. Oh, perfect. Hey, well, you know what? Glad that I can be useful in the background for you there. Oh, CFilms thought you also typed Clojure. Oh, fair enough. I do. Good point, CFilms. Good point. Actually, all I do is slap the keyboard until until the until valid code is generated. I am the proverbial monkey at the keyboard, or at the typewriter, creating Shakespeare. Working on my home lab. Needed some co-working. What are you doing? You making some hardware stuff, or doing some software? Sounds cool. The word lab is always so intriguing. You know, it makes it sound like you're a mad scientist or some inventor of some or something. You know, it sounds awesome, is what I'm saying. Okay, so simplified point is just going to take a single point. Oh, which, by the way, I should do. Let's def an example point here. Def A as first. There's a point. And let's def B. Oh no, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's just do what do I all need here? We've got a latitude, longitude. I think that I can discard the time because I'm not currently, I mean, it'll be useful to have in the future for rendering some kind of movement graph or something like that. Like, it'd be really cool to animate the path in the, like, following the real time or scaled time, you know, if I'm slow as molasses. But for the sake of this, I don't really need it. So what I'll do is destructure the point a bit. So what I'll do is, given a point, it's going to look like this. It's going to be key properties. So the key is here, the properties are here. Home lab equals servers in my spare room. Hey, you know what? That still sounds fantastic. I have a friend who runs his own IT business, and for years he just would like find scrap older computers and set them up as servers in like a little spot in his room as well, right? And then now he's got his own place, kind of, more or less, and he managed from other clients to get server racks that they weren't using anymore. We're talking like full legitimate server racks. Like, he's got a half size one and a full size one, and I helped him get them down into his basement. They're really nice racks. But it's like the craziest home lab you've ever seen. It's fantastic. It's so good. Right, so props, elevation, and then let's dump the time and dump the extensions. We don't need them. Okay, so now using that, which elevation we can actually further destructure like this. We can do like that. That should work, and then all we need to do is return k and association to props into the key Ella, the value Ella, and that should do the trick. Right, so let's try that. Boom. Golden. I wonder if I should, track point, just use point instead, so that it's, I don't know if that's a smart thing or not. No, you know what? There's no need to Yeah, whatever. Not a big deal. I don't know why I'm stressing about that. It really isn't a huge problem. But now, oh, actually, I realized something. Oops, not what I meant. This is gonna be, see that? These are strings. They need to be floats or longs, whatever the proper term for that is. They need to be numbers. And to do that, how do I, it's update, right? Update. Right, let's mess around with this just a smidge. Let's change this. Now we've got to do let xf props be thread props through assoc ella, then update yeah, that's fine. We're setting up an infrastructure with Terraform. Sounds like fun. Never done a Terraform before. It's on the list of things to learn. What is Terraform? Is that server cluster stuff? I have no idea. Sounds cool though. Sounds like a fun project. Right, so let's update. So I can associate into this directly the proper read string of that. Then I can just do update lat with read string, and then update lat and lon. Read strong, baby, read strong. There we go. All right, then I don't need to associate anything. This is now just point xf props. All right, let's see if that is helpful. It's looking pretty good. All right. So I actually realize, just looking at this, I mean, it might be a better data structure to just return, like there's no point tagging it like that, right? It may as well just be a map. Lat, lon, elevation. That really is all I need. And now the trick is to turn that into some kind of thing to be oh so descriptive of the problem. Ridiculous. All right, so let's def points as thread load gpx of outer.gpx and thread that into get points. Right, so now def b as second from points. Now simplify point b. Right, so let's Terraform is an infrastructure as code tool to deploy VMs, networks, storage, etc. Huh, really cool. Is it like an open source? You know what? I've got the power of the internet here. One problem with software and tech terms is that they're hard to Google sometimes. Infrastructure as code. That sounds really cool. Is that like is this just so you can learn how to do it, or is it something you do professionally as well? This is new territory for me. I like I listen to tech podcasts sometimes, and this kind of stuff comes up. So I've got like a, a layperson's understanding of it, right? But I've not delved deep into actually using any of this myself. There's some pretty verbose. They have some pretty verbose tutorials on their site to bring you up to speed if you wanted to experiment. It's cool stuff. I don't want to get ahead of myself in terms of business requirements, so I'm not going to do that like in the near future, but I have this handy notes file. Have a quick look at Terraform to learn what infrastructure as code tools are useful for. There we go. Boom. Noted. How's that, huh? I'm happy with that. I gotta do that more often. Every time I write a little note in a spot that I know where the note is, it feels like I can just like it just eliminates any worry in my brain about like, was it important, was it not? Doesn't matter. I can decide if it's important later when I go back to that note. Pretty cool though. All right, let's def B as simplify point B. Def A is simplify point A. So what I want to do here actually is see if I do reduce with minus the map lat over AB. So this is what I've just done here. I took A and B, they're 2 points right next to each other. It's for me and my day job. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, that's exciting. It's always really nice when you can kind of have fun doing a project that is just beneficial for you and your knowledge for whatever you happen to work on. When those things like blend, perfect. Love it. Oh, my legs. I went on a run and now they're all cramped up like I'm an old man. Horrible. Right, so what I'm trying to think about here is what I want to do with this kind of problem. By problem, I mean like these numbers are tiny, right? So I need to kind of figure out how to fix that. The numbers themselves, right? The actual latitude and longitude values are in like the range. They're like normal numbers. That 49. They're not huge. They're not tiny. They're just like a number. But it's the differences between them, right? Like if I were to just turn that into an X and Y, if I were to naively turn latitude and longitude into coordinates, they'll all just be so close, like it'll just look like a singular point in my SVG because they're all so close together. So I need to oh, maybe I could find the average of all of them, subtract the average from the value, then multiply the remaining number by 1,000 or something like that, so that the differences are scaled up. Let's try that. I have no idea if that's a good idea. That's the first thing that came to my brain. Go for it. All right. Average the points. Right. So, is there already an average function? Mike, we use CloudFormation at your work, which, as I understand it, is sort of the same thing. But my server room is just a bunch of Raspberry Pis, so I think Terraform would be a bit overkill for it. That's pretty cool to have a bunch of Raspberry Pis as a server like that. That's actually making me think. Now I'm wondering if I should clutch together a really crappy server farm with like all my old computers that I'm not using at the moment. Not for actual efficiency or anything real world, but just to see if I can do it and see if I could actually get useful computation out of it. Sorry, that's completely unrelated to everything. It's just a dumb thought in my brain. All right, let's average the points. I don't know if this is going to be a good idea, but I mean, we'll just try it. 'Cause why not, you know? Why not? If I run juxt lat lon over a, it works. Right, so if you're not familiar with juxt as a function, it's one I probably have to do or use more frequently so that it just gets in my brain. It's short for juxtapose, and basically what it means is it returns a function that will run every function you've given on the input. So if I do juxt, let's def example. I'm explaining this mostly so that I remember how it works. Verbalizing a thing is helpful. Mike, you totally could wipe them all, put something like Ubuntu server on it, tie them all together with Kubernetes, something like that, and you'd get free computing power for longer running tasks. It would be really fun to do. I'm not sure that the computers I've got sitting around are actually that good, you know? So it would be an experiment in setting it up more than in getting utility out of it. But maybe I'm wrong, actually. Maybe it would be useful. You know what? That might be a fun thing to do. Learn about the infrastructure side of things a little more. Another of my many weak spots. Anyway, juxt, if I do decrement, increment, and I'll just do those. That's fine. Right, so that's an example function, right? If I just type example here, it's a function, Clojure core juxt, blah, blah, blah. And now if I run example function with 1 as an input, it'll give me a vector of the results of the functions on it. So it'll have 0 and 2 as the elements, because the two functions were increment and decrement. I forget what order it was. So it was decrement first and then increment. So that's what that is. So you can use juxt on a map to pull values into a vector nice and easily. That's what I was doing. So to get the average of the points, this is maybe a naive approach. I also don't need to juxt it. Sorry, my head's a little all over the place. Let's just let x be n be count points, then x is just going to be divide by n the reduction plus over map ln latitude? I have no idea what I'm doing. Map that over the points. And then y is the same thing. And you just return xy. Oop. Boy, oh boy. Is it gonna work? No. Oh. Well, that'll be part of the issue there. Let me redef points here as simplify point map simplify point over points. And now try. Still no. Well, there we go. Oh, that's because I've written this incorrectly. There we go. CloudFormation is sort of the same, but exclusively for AWS, as far as I know. Raspis are a great home lab. It seems counterintuitive to me that Raspberry Pis would be so good, but I guess because they're cheap and actually relatively powerful for the price point, you can actually kind of accumulate a bunch of them. And I mean, the more computers, the more power, as long as you can coordinate them, right? It's maybe a little over simplified, but let's average the points. There we go. Okay, we got averages now. I'll be right back. I have to go to the washroom. And then I'll keep going. Yeah, Raspberry Pis, they're cheap, low power, and powerful enough for most services. That's the sweet spot, eh? With hardware. You want something that is just what you need and is cheap. And the Pis are a miracle of computing for those reasons, I think. I have a Pi that I bought because the newest Pis, I think 4, Series 4, they've got USB-C, and I have an iPad with USB-C, so you can power and network to the Pi from the iPad, and you can use the Pi as a compute unit on the iPad, and then you just SSH into it through the USB-C as if it were Ethernet. And so you can run Linux on your iPad on the go. It's pretty cool. And I know you can just get Android devices that do that kind of thing, but I like the iPad's the pencil. I use it for drawing and taking notes and all that kind of stuff. The iPad, in my opinion, is pretty unparalleled in that area, at least for now. Maybe not forever, but that's why I like the iPad. But I want to be able to run Clojure on it. And the Pi is the closest I've come to that. I use mine for network monitoring, for intrusive devices, logging network speeds, etc. Yeah, that's pretty smart. I've been thinking about making what's that called? I think it's called a Pi hole. You can run a Pi and it'll I don't know how it works, but it'll just prevent all ads and tracking stuff. Yeah. I've been meaning or thinking about setting one of those up. Probably be a good idea. Then you don't even get the network traffic from blocked ads at all. I mean, you can use blockers on like in Firefox, but it's still making the requests, and I don't know how it works. I don't know what I'm talking about. It would be a fun thing to do. It blocks the DNS requests. Okay, there you go. Super easy to block with. Yeah, I should do that. I think I have an older Pi that I haven't had an idea for in a while. I wonder if it would be good enough for running that. Man, so many ideas today. It's a shame almost, you know, because I have more ideas being generated than I have time to complete. At least that's how it feels. Okay, so using this, I wonder, let's keep going with my idea to see if I can get useful. So I want to average the points. Now I want to... You know what? I have to just slightly... adjust my order of things here for sensibility. Why did I do the let? Oh yeah, because I originally had it done differently. I don't need the let here. I just do this. Okay, so simplify point. Let's do get points, right? We'll get that drop to in there, and then we'll run that through map. Simplify point. Yeah, over the points. That'll work, right? Then you average the points, and then now here, rescale. No, that's rel scale, I don't know, point average and the point, and the rescale, the rel scale, I need to do I'm just trying to think about if this makes any sense or not. I'm not designing these functions very well. That's the problem. But I'll just go ahead because this it's not a big deal. It doesn't have to be a big deal yet. That's what I have to tell myself. Okay. Right, so you've got the average point, the scale, scalar, and then the point you're doing this to. The reason that's the last argument is so that you can easily partial it, but that's not necessarily a smart approach. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay. Right, so what you need to do is take the point. You have to do a few things to it. So you take the point and then you run it through map v minus, it's the point itself minus the average point. That does work, right? Map v 10, 20 minus 2, 3, or 4, sorry. Let's actually map the function here. Yep. 10 minus 2, 8. 20 minus 4, 16. Yes. Good, so that's a new point, and then the scale is just map v multiply by the scale, this new point. Is it gonna work? Okay, so we've got, this is slightly wrong. I need to juxt lat lon here. Yeah. Oops, gotta do it this way. Then you just need to do right. Is it gonna work? A is a point. Let's do that. So let's def av as average points. Good. So now let's try rel scale av 1000. Hey. No, it didn't work. I do believe this has to look like this, right? No? I'm intrigued. Map entry cannot be. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a few steps back here. Return endpoint. Get rid of this junk for a moment. Let's just see what juxt returns. It does return that. Oh, being a little silly here. That switches the order around. Maybe it doesn't matter though. Let's just try it. Sorry about this. I'm got the Monday brain, you know. Oop. Yeah. Oh, here. This is why. Map v. This has to be a function like this. There we go. Hey, how's it going, Martin? Hope you're doing well today. Glad to see you here. Okay, there we go. We're getting somewhere. The scale is way off, though. I'm not sure if this is like a really good approach at the end of the day, but we'll give it a shot. Did you do your weekend homework? Oh, Mac, you're you're cutting right to the chase. I did not. I ended up watching a different movie with my roommates, and it just didn't happen. I'm sorry. It was even like the perfect weekend for it. It was raining, you know. I was in a groove. I'm sorry to say. I'll show you one little thing that I did do instead. Things happen. Hope it was a good movie. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It was okay. It wasn't a perfect movie in my opinion. Do you know the movie Predestination with Ethan Hawke? It's like a 2014 movie about time travel, kinda. It's like, It was fun to watch. You know how watching movies with your roommates can be kind of fun. Another thing I managed to get I kind of worked on it, is in trying different things to improve my SDF rendering. I made a 3D SDF renderer, which is pretty cool. So you know, it wasn't like a weekend where I did absolutely nothing. You have not seen that movie, Predestination? You know, I'd say you don't need to rush and go see it, if I'm completely honest. Looks cool. Yeah, this I'm pretty happy with. This is a weird example, but it's a good step in the right direction. Today, of course, is just messing around with GPS data to see if I can do anything cool with it. Right, so I'm getting closer to sets of points that I could just map into my SVG stuff. Right, so let's try this, GPX to Polygon. Can recommend Riders of Justice and Another Round. Adding those movies. Another Round. Martin recommends. There we go. Whoop. I also... There. mentioned by Mike, and Wordrbar. There we go. I was saying you managed to use thing/geom to do a stacked interval plot. Oh, really? Nice. So that you didn't have to wait for me to figure out how to do stuff like that with any SVG stuff. Does thing/geom export to SVG for you? That sounds really cool. Glad you got some kind of solution. It does SVG. Man, tough competition. No, that's really good. That's really cool. Try thing SVG so that I can write a comparison table in SVG CLJ readme. Yeah. The namespace is called viz. NS viz. Viz with a Z. There we go. Thank you. That's actually really helpful. That's one thing that intimidates me still about not only thing/geom, but some of the more important Clojure projects. By important, I guess I mean ubiquitous ones. Like it can be hard to figure out which namespace is like the essential namespace of a thing, you know? Like there might be like 10 namespaces, and then it's hard to know when you're new to the library which ones have what you need. And I totally get why it happens. I mean, if you look at here, it happened to my SVG library too, even without, like, I wasn't trying to do any of this, but look, I've got a bunch of different libraries to pull in. Now, in fairness, I might be able to consolidate some of these in an intelligent manner, but it kind of happens where your namespaces proliferate a little bit. So having a pointer to which one I should look into is really helpful. All right, GPX to Polygon. Right, so I want to run the pipeline here. GPX, let's put it through get points. Then, oh, I need to not quite gonna work the way I want it to, actually. I need to change it up just a bit. Yeah, let points be get points of GPX. The reason I need to put it in a let here is because I need the average of the points in other calculations. So now I can run points through rail scale average. Oh, the scale I used was what? Yes. Okay. Right, so at this point in the process, the points are like this. I just naively rescale. I make all of the points relative to the average of all the points. then I multiply them by a scale factor. So I just took the latitude and longitude values and did that to it, and I'm going to put it into a polygon and then render it as an SVG and see if it looks like anything. Right, so actually all I need to do here now is SVG, elements/polygon, and that should, now I should be able to do transform style, because it should be in a polygon at this point, fill none, and stroke, let's just do blue for now, stroke width 2 pixels. Let's see if that actually is going to work. So we've got, let's def GPX as load GPX outer dot GPX and GPX to polygon of GPX. Null pointer. Love to see it. I don't love to see it, but it happens. Right, polygon of points. Let's see what's up with that. All right, let's step back a little bit here. Oh, well, I do believe I have to do this. Map rel scale partial. Oh yeah. This is why I did it this way. There's no reason to, I don't need to do it with partial, I just am. Oh, then I also have to thread last as thread. P. This is confusing. Maybe not a smart thing to do. Let's see if it works though. I did it wrong. Oh. Wait, is this gonna work? I don't know if this is gonna work. Yeah, no, same. Okay, that's just because I didn't redef this, I think. There we go. And that does mean as thread. I'm trying this out. I don't know if I like this style, but it does read a little bit clearer. So it's like as thread locally binds P, and then you read this out as a statement kind of on its own. Map partial blah 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 P, and it's kind of clear. I think it's okay. And let's just double check that I'm actually thinking about it correctly. Yep, good. Then we've got the rest of this. Is she gonna work? Promising. Now let's do tools/cider show. Kinda. That's pretty cool. It mostly works. Yeah. That's pretty good. Okay, here. So that's let's see if I can pull up the render of that track from the app without giving it all away. I mean, it's not right, but it's a cool start. So here, oh, well, that's just hard to read. it's straighter on the sides than this is, or I've got it, oh, I think I've got it turned actually. And I'm almost certain what I did, right, is scale it. So latitude and longitude, I think I have to look into this, like how to make it look right with certain scaling factors. I'm not sure that they're a perfect uniform grid, right? So if they're not uniform, but I'm using a uniform scaling factor, you're going to get distortion. So there's two things wrong with this. One, I think I flipped the longitude. I mean, maybe lat. And I bet that the scale factor doesn't work the way I think I'm just being super naive about how to implement this, that's all. Oh, that's not at all what I meant to do. To be clear, I don't know what I'm doing either, so this is all discovery. Maybe I was wrong. Well, let's have a look here. See, the other thing is, locally, I wonder if I can actually treat latitude and longitude as if they were already on an XY grid, as long as I get the scale factors correct. Okay, lines from pole to pole are longitude lines. So longitude values should be X values, yeah? 0 to 90. Lines of latitude run east to west as circles parallel to the equator, yeah. Auxiliary latitudes. I'm a little in over my head now, clearly. I don't need it to be perfect though. That's the thing. I do need it to be better than what it is, but that is a problem I can work on. I would be happy to work on that problem. Right, so I should also make this a line. So the reason I want to make it a polyline is I can see the start and end points, and that'll actually be pretty helpful. Let's make it hot pink, baby. Let's also scale this up by another factor of 10 because I want it nice and big, you know? You know? Oh, I didn't change this. What a goose. There we go. Uh-oh. It's too big. It doesn't fit on the screen. Love it. Let's just do this times 2. Hey, there we go. What's this? I think that might just be. Hmm. Oh, wait, what? Why is that so much smoother? Am I changing things that don't matter? I think I am. Oh, there's two things I've done wrong. I have to change the order here and here. If I want to do this properly. Okay. Okay. It's wrong. It's exactly wrong, which means it can be exactly right in just a minute. Right? I have to rotate it 180 basically. So let's just do that. This is almost certainly like a bad method of doing it, but I'll start with that. And I'm just realizing I'm not sure that I'm actually, yeah, no, I do want it to be north. So this is north right now is pointing, like the actual north of this track is pointing this way. So I'm just doing pretty naive transformations right now. I'm not thinking about mathematically what latitude and longitude mean. I'm just scaling the points and moving them around until I get a roughly representative image. And then I can use that to make art. At least I hope. Yeah, so TF/rotate 180. Now we're golden. There we go. So north is north. North is up on the screen. Only thing is the vertical scale seems to be off. And how do I want to handle that? Well, look at this. According to the ISO standard, which states, without the full specification of the coordinate reference system, coordinates, latitude and longitude, are ambiguous at best and meaningless at worst. Well, if they're meaningless, then I can do whatever I want with no fear. Right? Oh boy. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? I'm not doing this in a particularly meticulous way. What would be really good is to get a proper mapping from one coordinate system to another with proper scaling happening where needed, but not before. Like you want to, theoretically you want to do things like rounding, scaling, translating and rotating at the end of any transformation pipeline so that you have the most accurate numbers or the most unchanged numbers through till the very end. But I'm not going to worry about that today. I'm going to do what's called eyeballing it. Oh, also, the orientation this way is correct, but I have to flip the y-axis actually. So I'm going to cheat yet again. Alright, ladies and gents, as much fun it is to see running data, gotta go get a run in myself. Awesome progress today. Streaming tomorrow? It's Monday, right? Yeah, so I'll be streaming on Tuesday. Should hopefully be around the same time, maybe a bit earlier if I manage it. So maybe I'll see you around then. Have a good run there, Mike. Run fast or run steady, whichever is the goal you're going for. Maybe both. Right, let's flip the axis. Let's do this. Thanks for joining us today, Mike. As always, I appreciate it very much. There we go. That's looking okay. Cool. Take care. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mike, for shouting it out. Mike is right. I have a YouTube channel. I've been meaning to get more videos up on there. Been busy, so it's not always possible, but it's an important project to me, the YouTube channel. So give it a look. Give it a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks, Mike, for the reminder. Always better at plugging than I am. All right. I wonder if I should just sneakily do something like this, you know? I'm literally eyeballing this. Oh, do I have this is fine. Okay, good. Let's go 1.5. That looks pretty good. Right, so now I want to do, well, now what do I want to do? Well, actually, so there's one thing I should do prior to this. Yeah, whatever. Okay, oh, I'm gonna get going soon, but I want to finish off this idea. So I actually have two track pieces. So let me actually do this. Let's let's change this to path, by the way. That'll probably be better. This one's gonna be path polyline. I think that'll look the same, I hope. Oh wait, did I actually redef this? Oh. It does look the same, that's good. path function is if close I don't know if I'm doing this right. If close, the path function is path polygon. Otherwise, it's path polyline. Then here I go path function. Okay, so let's try that again, just as is. Yeah. Close. No value. Oh, there we go. That's a little bit what I wanted. I don't know if that's a smart. I don't know if I like that. But it works. We'll leave it like that for the time being. So let's def outer, right, as oop. Okay. Def outer as thread load GPX outer.gpx, then run that through GPX to path, and then do the same for inner with inner file, and then def res is path / merge paths, inner outer. Oops. I can't remember if it's a list or direct. GPX to path close true. Close true. Path / where's merge again? Shoot. Maybe I put it in transforms. Transforms merge. Yeah. And it takes the paths directly. Transform merge paths. TF merge paths, inner and outer. All right, let's do tools / cider show res. Weird. It looks weird, but it's pretty cool. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, here, this style, I should not apply it until there. So this let's fill it with normal pink, and let's there we go. Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm pretty pleased with that so far. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so as a proof of concept, things are working okay. I just want to see what result this has if I merge these open paths. Okay, the coloring still mostly works the way I would have expected. All right, well, you know what? I think that's gonna be good for today. Happy with that progress. Unless there's something quick I could do. No, I hope everyone is having / has had a good time. I'm not sure when people showed up. If they just got here, I'm really sorry. I do gotta get going, actually. Or should get going, do other stuff. But, okay, I'll just quickly review what I've done up to this point, because I'm pretty happy with it so far. Actually, let's see here. If I do tools, slider, show outer, inner, they shouldn't have any style on them now that I redef those. See, that looks pretty weird. Right, so if I were to now merge them, oop, there we go. Result, there we go, right? So that, well, looks like that's about the best GPS accuracy I can get. And I gotta say, I mean, if you know the track I ran on, that is pretty good. The thing that is a bit of a bummer is, so I ran the outside of the track for one track, and then I ran the inside of the track for the other. And you can see, let me make it, fill is, right, so these points here in real life, I did not get, I did not run this close on the outer part of the track here. Like, you can see there's drift, I guess you could call it, right? There's inaccuracy on the tracks saved. But I mean, that is honestly not surprising. That's about as accurate as I can get it, I'm sure. I don't know what I'm going to do with that information. I have to think about how I want to present this in a really cool way, but the next step, I think, is to work on incorporating elevation data into this and then making a 3D path in an isometric sort of thing, and then kind of animating the path or something like that, because that could be pretty cool. This experiment here means I can kind of just like collect tracks and make drawings out of them or something. That could be fun. Anyway, successful day. Happy with the results so far. I'm going to keep working on things, but I'm going to get going now. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I appreciate that a lot. Mike kindly posted the YouTube link here with the YouTube link bot. Please consider having a look at that. If you enjoy my stream and the kind of stuff I work on here, I make edited videos that are more concise. I'm a little more thoughtful in my descriptions of what I'm doing. I show things a little more clearly in those videos, so that might be appealing to some of you folks. But that's all I've got. I'm going to be back tomorrow around the same time, so I'll see you there. Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye.